I'm recording this spontaneously because I've been noticing a pattern. Now, this has been reaching my doorstep, but I have a feeling it's been reaching the doorsteps of a lot of healers, readers, astrologers, things of that nature. And I feel like this really needs to be addressed, both for the sake of those that are providing those services and for the sake of those that are coming to these folks for services. This may come off a little bit like a vent session, but mostly this is just to draw attention to some issues that I feel are in the spiritual community when it comes to the areas of business transactions. Now, I'm going to share experiences that I've had with clients and also experiences I've had with others in my field. So I'm not going to be leaving any names. There's not going to be any breach of, confidentiality or anything like that. But I am going to leave examples just for the sake of making my point. If anyone is offended by that, if you recognize that that's you I'm talking about, well, hey, I'm not trying to pick on anyone, but what you did, I'm using as an example of what I don't like. Or maybe it will be an example of something else, but I'm just putting that out there. Like, if the shoe fits, wear it. I'm not here trying to make this personal, but if you get in your feelings about it and you get upset about it and you don't correct the behavior, well, that's on you. You don't have to book with me. And probably most of the people I'll be talking about won't even be people that are real clients. They'll be people that hit me up asking, what do you see in this picture? Or can I have a yes or no answer? Or what do you think of this? Without expecting to pay anything for it. Those will be most of the examples I will give. But any example I give will be for the purpose of illustrating my point, and I will not use any names or anything like that. No breach of confidentiality. So I'm just putting that out there. One of the things I want to talk about is this tendency for those of you that want to get a reading or an astrological chart from readers and astrologers. And instead of just going and booking with these people, you message them on Facebook and ask them to confirm or deny something that another astrologer or reader has done. I don't know about y'all, okay? I had it happen to me several times. And something else that I had happen was somebody asking me for a quick yes or no answer on something, giving me a sample of what's going on with them, which I would have been happy to assist, and asking for a quick yes or no answer. Clients, if you guys are unable to go within to get answers, or you're looking for outside confirmation to the answers you've already received, please understand, we are professionals making a living off of the people that we help. So for some of us, this is not just a side gig or something we do for donations. This is our career. This is our business. That would be like me, let's say you're a doctor coming to you, I'm asking you to give me a consultation for free. Even if you're on Medi-Cal or Medicare or Medicaid, trust me, somebody's paying these people, okay? They're getting paid. Or if I go on your Etsy, let's say you sell some stuff on Etsy and I hit you up and I'm like, hey, do you have like a couple extra items that you didn't sell in bulk that I could have? I mean, really, guys, like, this is crazy. And you're asking people to interpret something that someone else, off of work somebody else did. Now, if you've booked like a session with me, for example, and while we're in session, you're like, hey, another reader said this, so this is confirmation for me. Okay, cool. Or if I'm talking about something and they're like, whoa, well, another reader said this, and seemed like it was opposite to what I'm saying, I can understand the relevance of bringing these things up. I'm most likely going to say, well, I can't speak for another reader. I'm just telling you what I'm tuning into and what I'm picking up on, and you can decide what resonates and what doesn't. But if you're coming to somebody and you're like, well, this astrologer did this chart, can you tell me what it means? I legit had somebody send me an email. I'm not going to name names of these people so I don't break confidentiality, even if people aren't technically clients of mine. I'm not going to sit there and throw anyone under the bus. But I am going to use things that people say as an example, you're just not going to know who it is. I received an email from somebody that was like, I spent all of my savings on this astrology chart and I still don't understand it. Can you interpret it for me? Now listen, I'm not judging if someone wants to spend their life savings on an astrology chart. That's cool, that's your choice. But really, your life savings, I mean, it sounds like a crock of shit. Who knows? I mean, maybe the life savings wasn't that big. Maybe the astrology chart was really expensive. But if it was, it really should have answered your questions. But either way, if I wasn't a business professional, normally I would have lit y'all's ass on fire for something like that. Come on. Like saying some shit like that to somebody, you know, and coming to somebody asking for them to interpret something that somebody else did. Not asking if it's even a service I offer. Not asking how much would it cost, expecting me to do that. To do, guys, is go on my website. I have so many people hitting me up. Before you hit people up, if they have a website, and especially if they say on Facebook or on Instagram or on YouTube, here's my website, you can book here. Please check the services they offer on their website before you start messaging them about what services they offer. Please be professional. It's not just up to the professional to be professional. It's also up to the client to conduct themselves professionally. Show up on time. Don't ask us to do shit for free. Don't ask us to do shit outside of our peripheral. Now look, if you ask me like, hey, I know that you have these services here. I couldn't really find anything that fits what I need. Is there any way you could customize it? That's different. But don't just come and assume and like tell me your whole life story, dump all your shit on me, and then just be like, hey, so what do you think? Like that's really presumptuous, really rude, and really unprofessional. It kind of paints a picture for me that you're not the kind of person that I'm going to want to deal with as a client anyway, even if you did want to pay for it. And the thing is, what a lot of you guys do is you say shit to try to pull in our heartstrings, so because you think that's going to make us want to help you. Some of y'all are straight up emotionally manipulative. I've had people, and this was more so in the past, but I've had people actually say, oh, well, you're a healer and I can't afford it, so how am I supposed to get help? Like, it's up to you to help me. No, it's not. I have a right to refuse services just like anyone else that's a business owner. It is not a right of yours to receive my energy. It is a privilege. And it is a privilege that you need to pay for with equal transactional energy change that I ask for. If you're not willing to do that, then find somebody else who's a better fit. If you can't afford the service, that's understandable. Then find somebody whose service you can afford. I'm not going to lower my prices. I'm not going to give you, drop you a bunch of gems for free because you're not willing to save up to buy a service. Because I know damn well you save up for those fucking shoes. You save up for that, haircut or lineup. You save up for those Starbucks coffees. So if you really are serious about the service and you really want me to answer that particular question, then you'll save up for it. Real talk, that's how I feel. That's how a lot of us feel, by the way. This isn't just me that's been dealing with this. This is a lot of people over a period of time. And listen, when I was first starting out, I did do shit for donations because I thought, well, I'm new at this. I didn't feel secure enough. I maybe suffered with a little bit of imposter syndrome or whatnot. So, and I just wanted to reach as many people as possible. Over time, I started to gradually increase my prices because I was feeling drained from all the people I was helping. And there were people that needed multiple exorcisms. I was helping them out for free because I felt bad because I thought, well, an exorcism is serious, so I should help this person even if they can't. I should put them on a sliding scale. I should, installment plan something, if not for free. And you know what? You know what happened? And I can think of one instance in particular. The person comes back not following my advice of putting up shields and protections and wards, not following my advice of doing energy cleansing, not following my advice about cutting off, certain relationships that were causing the attachments to begin with, but then wanted to come back hat in hand a week later. Oh, I have attachments again, this and that. And that was when I realized it was a lesson for me. There was a young woman that hit me up asking me, like I said, for a straight yes or no question. It actually would have taken me less time to answer her. You know, in her asking me, it gave me permission to access her energy in that moment and give her an answer. But instead, I actually typed out, sure, I'm happy to tune in, but you're going to need to book either a consultation or an oracle reading. And actually, she didn't resort to any kind of like, at least not that I could see, any kind of like serious, emotional manipulation or anything like that. She was just like, okay, how much? And I gave her my prices, and she was like, I can't afford that right now. I recently lost my job, and I have such and such amount on my bank account. And I could almost feel like there could be a possible expectation of, maybe me giving her a discount or something, or cutting it in half. And I'm not saying she's necessarily expecting it, but she was definitely hoping for it. I could feel it. I could feel that long pause. And it was almost like a crossroads energy of, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? It's not like she asked straight out. She didn't, right? She didn't really do, anything wrong, but it was a test for me. And so instead of me being like, oh, well, let me discount that for you, or, hey, why don't we do it like this? I'll give you 15 minutes instead, since you only need this answer, this, that, and the third, so you can afford. I didn't say any of that. She even said, I'll just have to wait, and I'll hit you up later. Not those exact words, but something along those lines. And I said, of course. And I said, and I wish you prosperity and abundance. And she was like, likewise. And it was cool. She was very, very mature, very nice, very polite. But it was a test for me. Because in the past, what I would have done is I probably would have just answered her, because I would have figured, oh, it's not a lot of energy. It's just a yes or no question. But if I'm responding to one person like that, that's fine. But what if I get 5 people a day asking me one-word questions, yes or no? Do you see what I'm saying? So this is the kind of shit that we need to be mindful of, healers, readers, astrologers. Now, y'all can do what you want, but I'm over here existing off of the help that I'm doing for others. This is my business. Yes, I love helping people. Yes, I try to be reasonable. Yes, I will put 100% into whatever I'm doing. And yes, I'm even going to tell you shit you don't want to hear. And I'm going to usually give you some kind of homework or some kind of aftercare at the very least, depending on what you needed help with. And if you don't do it, listen, that's on you. And please stop coming to us with, let me just touch on the exorcism thing real quick, okay? A lot of y'all are coming to us needing exorcisms when it's shadow healing and trauma healing that needs to take place. And then we tell you exactly what to do, and then you don't do it. I had somebody come to me. This was a return client of mine. And they were like, listen, I'm still having this problems with this attachment, this, that, and third. And the first thing I asked was, well, have you done what I suggested? Did you do all the shadow work I suggested? Never heard back. Then, I've had people that had multiple complex entities. And I was explaining, look, you may have to go through this process and this may take a while, because if you've had an attachment for 5 years, it's not always going to be a quick fix situation that gets handled in one session. I like it to be. But the truth is, it's not always about just removing something surgically, because a lot of attachments are there with your permission. They're there because you gave them some sort of conscious or unconscious permission, and the reason behind that has to be healed and addressed. Or they could be actual earthbound spirits that are refusing to leave. And so then there's a process to regress them and walk them through that process of leaving. And the way I do my exorcisms now, for simple stuff like astral parasite removal, stuff like J-seal removal, implants, things of that nature that are more basic or like basic energy blockages, then I will do that via the Primordial Dragon Fire Healing, where I remote project into that person's space and surgically remove those particular attachments. But it has to be more simple attachments. For complex possessions, oppressions, attachments, etc., that's when I always recommend the spirit releasement therapeutic healing practice. And in that case, I'm going to literally guide and walk the client through doing that one-on-one themselves. And that way they also have the keys to do that themselves if it ever happens again in the future. But it's not always going to be a cut and dry situation. Sometimes it can even be shadow fragments or repressed shadow aspects that have gone so neglected that they become their own autonomous entity haunting that person. So it can go a lot of different directions, and it's not always a quick fix. Sometimes there may need to be a ritual done or fasting. Sometimes shadow work or journey has to be done. There's a lot that goes on. And I had a client that had that issue, but this client was actually doing all the right things. This client was doing everything she's supposed to. It was just a very long road for her because it ended up being that she had to heal a lot of inner child stuff and wounds in order to even stop welcoming that being in there. See, we give, when it comes to spirit attachments, we give either unconscious or conscious permission in the first place. So we have to take that back. We have to revoke that. We have to take our power back. But then it's not always that easy. Sometimes we have to do deep shadow healing work. Sometimes we have to learn how to control our thought forms. Sometimes we have to stay on top of our protections. Sometimes we need to do magical reversals. So there's a lot of shit that goes on with this, okay? Again, I'm not using any names of any clients because I believe in client confidentiality. I am simply sharing this for the sake of educational purposes within this field, as far as, hey, this is what a lot of us healers and astrologers and readers are dealing with. And there are certain protocols that need to be addressed, and there are some do's and don'ts, both for us and our clients. We're doing the best we can to navigate it with y'all, but sometimes y'all aren't doing your part, or you're not doing what it takes. You want somebody to do a quick fix. You want somebody to snap their fingers, or you want somebody to drop gems for free, or you want somebody to go behind something that another astrologer or reader didn't do thoroughly, but you want us to come. You want to go to someone else and pay them. I mean, this person telling me, for instance, that she spent most of her savings, I don't know if that was true or not, okay? But spent most of her savings on this, but then what does she want me to do? I mean, I simply responded with, that's not one of my services, which is true. I don't offer a service of analyzing a chart that somebody else did. If you want to book a chart with me, that's one thing, okay? Or if you want to book a reading with me, that's one thing. But I'm not going to sit there and go over work someone else did. That's a slap in my face, because what you're essentially saying is, well, you're not good enough to book with. You're like some second-rate person. But I found out, oh, well, they really didn't meet my expectations or explain things too well. So I guess, now I can come to you and you can just, kind of like fix whatever no, that's fucked up. And listen, I don't have any ego complexes about this healer or that, or this reader or that. I don't care. But it's not right, man. It's not cool. A lot of you guys come to us assuming that we're like with this expectation that we're supposed to help you guys. Now, I'm not saying you guys are doing this on purpose or anything like that. I'm making y'all aware, because maybe you're not aware. Maybe you think it's okay to do these kind of things. And I'm not just gonna, pick on the clients. I'm gonna pick on the readers too. A lot of y'all new readers are bothering people, fucking tagging them in every post on Facebook, messaging them in inbox, emailing them, asking them if they want readings. Listen, that's coming off real scammer-like. I'm just going to be honest, because as far as my experience goes, the only people that do that are either newbies or scammers. So it's not a good look either way. It is not professional to approach people in that manner. Let people come to you. Set up a website. You know, if you want to have like a newsletter or email campaign that they sign up for, cool. You know what I'm saying? If you want to market on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, cool. But don't come in people's inboxes bothering them. If I am interested in your service, I will come to you. If they are interested in your services, they will come to you. You don't have to chase anybody. Attract, don't chase. Okay? Also, some of you healers and readers are not being clear about your financial expectations, and then you're getting resentful. So some of y'all are coming at these clients and you're like, oh, it's a donation, or I'm doing readings for the next hour for only $5, and then afterward you're hitting people up, asking, them to send you $50 in your Cash App. Listen, that's not cool, dude. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're asking for suggested donations, that's suggested. They don't have to give you that much. I mean, it's kind of fucked up. But, if you're saying, I'll do reading for a donation, and the person gives you $1, well, that's on you. You need to set the bar. You need to say, listen, I'm not willing to do readings for less than this. If you would like to tip me more, I would appreciate it. But don't say, oh, I'm doing a reading for a donation, then start channeling for 30 minutes and then get pissed when you get tipped $5. Well, you didn't exactly set the bounds, did you? So this is a thing. Those of us in this business, we need to set boundaries. We need to be clear in our communication. Some of y'all, people will order charts from you and you don't fucking, talk to them for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And when I say don't talk to them, I'm not saying you're supposed to be constantly in communication with them. But there needs to be something specified somewhere on your website, an automated email response, something that indicates, hey, it's going to take me a week or two to get to your order. When I start working on it, I'll let you know, or expect it within this point in time. And then obviously, if it goes over that, then the client is going to message you anyway, because they're going to be like, where the fuck's my order, dude? I ordered this 3 weeks ago. So as long as you give people that expectation, they're fine. You have to communicate with your clients. When I did akashic portraits, I still do them, but there was a point in time when I was getting orders for them back to back to back. Now it's a little more of a mixed bag. And so I had so many orders that I had to put out finally, may take up to 3 weeks. Could be as little as 3 days, just depends. And I would be in communication with my clients, letting them know, hey, I'll probably be done within such time or whatever. I wasn't sitting there hitting them up every day, but you need to communicate with people. You need to let them know what to expect. You need to let them know, what your disclaimers are, what are your policies, what are your terms and conditions. You're a fucking professional. Act like it. They don't hear from you. I ordered, again, not going to say the name, but when I was first getting started digging into my astrological charts and shit, before I started doing it myself, I ordered an astrology chart from someone. Actually, there were 2 different people I ordered them from, okay? The first one was more surface, and the other one was more in depth, and that second one was Vedic, was a Vedic starseed chart, and the first one was a tropical starseed chart, but it was a basic. Both of these women, both of these astrologers, I had to fucking yell at in the email because there was no communication. They did it. It's not like they stiffed me or anything, but that's fucked up too. Y'all need to do a better job. Get your head out of the fucking clouds or the akashic records or up your ass or whatever and start communicating with your clients. Be professional. You wouldn't want someone to take that long to pay you. Get with it. Here's another thing. I've talked about this in the past. If you are a reader, you need to be disconnecting the energy between you and the client when you're done reading them. All right? Same thing with healing sessions. Disconnect that energy. Okay, it's not, you're just going to end up feeling drained. The other person could feel drained. Plus, it's not safe energetically. It's just, you know, come on. Even if you're not doing it in their presence, make sure you're doing it. And people that are buying readings and stuff from people, make damn sure you vet out people before you're booking their services. Seriously. Check out their reviews. Ask them questions. I'm not going to go into that very much in this video because I did a whole post about that a long time ago. And I think I did a whole video on this channel. If I didn't, I will do it another time. But I'm pretty sure I went over all of that already. But yeah, I mean, vet out people. You know, don't just, then you got these knuckleheads on. I mean, it's up to you. You know, do as you will, all right? But you got these knuckleheads in Facebook groups, like, what do you see when you look at my picture? And they're just leaving it open. Not only are you leaving yourself vulnerable for energy vampires and astral parasites that can pass between, but if you don't have any kind of protections up or wards or cloaks or anything like that, and if you're not somebody that cleanses your energy regularly, you can pass that back and forth, spiritual, transmitted diseases. And it's just not a good practice to leave your energy completely open like that to be probed by others anyway. Just book a session with a psychic that you feel drawn to, that has a good reputation, that has good reviews, that's been around for a while. If you want to know, don't just put it out there for strangers to access because you're too cheap to buy a reading. Seriously. No serious reader is going to do that without some sort of exchange. Or they're practicing, which is fine. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that there aren't serious readers and healers that know what they're doing, that do things for free. I'm just saying it's pretty rare. And if they are doing it for free, it's probably because they used to do it and now they're retired. They do it part-time, or they're doing it as a charity, or they're doing it because they just started out. You're not going to see too many people doing it for free otherwise. So these are just some of the things I wanted to address. Like, you know, readers and healers, please be clear with your clients. Please be clear about time zones. Please be clear with communication. You know, don't be weird and non-specific about your prices. Be clear about your refund policies, all of that shit. Be clear about what you're talking about, okay? Clients, make sure you know your damn time zone. Make sure you're communicating exactly what you want. Make sure if it's something, you know, look at the person, vet them out, find out what they're on, you know, find out what their services are. Don't just assume or expect them to do shit for you, especially not for free or a discounted price. It's rude as fuck. Now you can tell them, you know, you're having a financial problem. Is there any way I can do installment payments? Sure. But don't ask them for a discounted price or to get it for free. And don't assume that somebody's just supposed to give you information for free. Hey, can you just tell me this? What do you think about this? You know, and one more thing. Those of you that are readers and shit, don't get sucked into people who act like they want to talk to you and they find you interesting and really they just want to get information out of you without paying for your time. Be really mindful of that. I used to really get sucked into that when I first started. I would think it was cool. I'm just connecting with people. And it's I think the last time I did it was actually about 6 months ago. I had really slowed down doing it. I was only doing it with 1 or 2 people. But I actually did it as recent as 6 months ago, where I had gotten to know somebody. I thought they were interesting or whatever. And the more we started talking, the more I realized they were just asking me for information and to confirm things that they wanted. Or don't do exchanges with people when you're not interested in what they have to offer or if it's one-sided. I recently set up an exchange with somebody with music. And so far, they've been really spotty with communication. So you just never know. I mean, a lot of it is live and learn. You go with the vibes and shit too. But a lot of times what'll get you, and this is why I've had to be, a lot of people are finding me real rough and real blunt, okay? And I'm getting more so because you have to be. Unfortunately, a lot of people out there looking to take advantage. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not authentic or that you don't want to help people or you don't have a big heart. But just know, the bigger your heart is and the more visible those heartstrings are, the more people are going to try to pull at them. So you can have a big heart and you can want to help people, but you need to protect your energy. You need to have set boundaries, and you can't make exceptions. Because if you start making exceptions, pretty soon people start walking all over you. It's like the old saying goes, if you give a mouse a cookie, they ask for a glass of milk. It's just human nature. People don't even always do it consciously. So anyway, that's all I got. I just wanted to record this. I thought it was really important to talk about. And yes, it did turn out to be an event session. And yes, I did use real client experiences, although I did not share names. So, there is no, breach of confidentiality there. It's just me sharing my experience. I'm not ruining anyone's reputation. If you watch this video, you might know that I'm talking about you, but it's nothing personal. But look, I'm using this as an example to show people what to do or what not to do, what we like, what we don't like. Again, at the end of the day, these are lessons for me. And I'm just trying to spare some of y'all from making the same mistakes. So that's what I have for you guys. Take what resonates and leave the rest. I'm not going to be debating with anybody or arguing on my post about this. If you don't agree, move along. I don't really care. If you agree, cool. If it helps, awesome. If it helps, leave a heart or a thumbs up or a comment, cool. If you don't agree, I don't really want to hear it, honestly. I don't care, because I'm not here to debate. It's not an open forum. I'm not having a fucking discussion. It's my YouTube channel. If I was in a group or an open discussion, I would totally want to hear it. Don't want to hear from it. I don't care. I'm here for people that resonate and benefit from what I'm putting out. If you don't resonate or benefit, then keep it moving. Thanks again, guys. Take care. Check out my website, thetantricdragoness.com, to book a private akashic reading or any other reading. Also, akashic portraits, consultations, shamanic journeys, starseed charts, primordial dragon fire healing, and much more. You can also subscribe to Patreon to learn how to do a lot of this yourself through various templates I've designed. Activate Diamond Consciousness, Activate the Black Flame, Journey the Underworld, Tantric Healing and BDSM, Astral Projection and Power, Shields, Cloaks, Wards, Learning Light Language, Exclusive and Premiere Readings, Soul Fragment Retrieval, Advanced Ancestral Work, Creating Your Own Shamanic Sanctuary, and much more. Thanks for your support, and stay tuned for future videos.